Hey Hodies, welcome to my channel. My name is Why do I keep singing it? My name is hautemesstom, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. My channel is a lot about loving my makeup collection as it currently is. I do still bring some new things into my collection occasionally, but I really like to focus on the who, what, where, when, why of why I'm bringing things into my collection when I do that, and today's video is going to be a really good example of that. So I would love to have you subscribe if that's the kind of content that you're into. Make sure you like this video before you leave it, and I'm also on patreon.com if you would like to support me there. Let's get into today's video. Today what I'm going to do, we're going to play a little game called
Why did I buy that?
It's not particularly a game, but I was going through my makeup the other day, like pulling things out that I was going to wear on camera or for a look or something. I don't really remember. And I pulled out a product and I was like, why did I buy this? Why did I buy this can kind of turn out one of two ways. You end up really liking the product and it adds a lot of value to your collection, or you buy it, you're using it for a while and you're like, I can't remember why I bought this in the first place. It's like not that good. So I think what would be very fun is for me to talk about a handful of items that I have in my collection and I'm like, why did I buy that? When I think about the time of my life that I was in when I bought those products, what was my decision-making choice? Because it's not really consistent with what I was doing at the time. So I have a couple in person, but I have one that I am gonna flash on the screen that's no longer in my collection. Let's start with that product actually. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the McGrath Labs Idol's Burnished Honey. Why did I buy this? I am a little more accepting and use a little bit more single shadows in my life than I used to as like a one and done. Today's a good example of me using a one and done eyeshadow. But at the time when I bought this Burnished Honey, I used palettes, but I got in my head that I was like gonna be a one shadow girl, and now I have turned into a one shadow gal. Now it's not exclusively what I do, but at the time when I bought Burnished Honey, I was very into structured looks, and that was kind of exclusively what I would do on my eyes whenever I would put a look together. I can't imagine why I would have bought this, but I do think the ultimate reason why was that I did a Pat McGrath masterclass. I think it was in quarantine or like right after quarantine, and I like paid money to get into this masterclass. Anyway, Naomi Campbell was there. It was a whole to-do. Anyway, and also listening to Naomi Campbell talk is my favorite thing. I just need you to know that, and I think it's an incredible experience, and if you have the opportunity, it was a Zoom call, by the way. I think I should make that clear. It wasn't like I was in person with either one of these people, because I don't know what I would do. I really don't know what I would have done. So I bought this, and it's in my collection, and I maybe used it a handful of times. In the masterclass, the Pat McGrath artists all talked a lot about how it's really important as a makeup artist to be able to build a really dimensional look with a single matte shadow, meaning like you're contouring and then depending on how much product you pick up on the brush versus how much pressure you're applying in certain areas of the eye to do a really nice look. And they said that that's kind of whenever you're applying to work for Pat McGrath, this is one of those things that they have you work on, or a demo for them. So I was like, I can do that. This was also in a time of my life when I was like still delusional about me wanting to actually work on clients, which is not a thing that I want to do anymore, but that's like a story for another time. And I was like, well, I have to master this if I'm ever going to work for Pat McGrath. And that whole sentiment is very layered if you are familiar with my channel. So it's just like a very weird thing to think about. I remember using it, and it is a really beautiful burnished honey. Like it's like this beautiful, warm, rusty shade. And it was really pretty, but up until relatively recently, this was like not a fantasy that I was ever going to live up to. It was just, the fantasy was I will work for Pat McGrath if I learn how to use this eyeshadow. The fantasy wasn't me as hautemesstom is going to get a lot of value and a lot of use out of this single eyeshadow. Especially, I am better about using my single eyeshadows that are in like my magnetic pans because I will build my own color stories or whatever, but whenever they're in that plastic compact, it's like I'm never going to use that. So I would say that I got the better of myself at that point, and I bought something that was completely worthless to me in my collection. Can somebody tell me why I bought this lipstick from Sugarpill? It's the shade Gravity. Here it is. I can't remember why I placed the order. I bought this directly from Sugarpill, and I'm trying to remember why I was even buying it. I think I was buying the shade Dropout, which is like this beautiful dark green liquid lipstick with gold sparkles in it. It's like very cool, very chic, and I was like, I'm very into a green lipstick. I also wanted to try the shade Trinket, and I'm guessing that they had some kind of sale. I'd bet money that I bought this exclusively to hit the shipping minimum. This is like a dark nude for white people kind of color with gold sparkles in it. And I had no relationship with this before last year whenever I did the using all your makeup in December project that I did, which was like I posted every day and cycled through my makeup. I'll put the playlist up there if you're interested in it. Some people are doing this project on Instagram or on their own time. And I love to know that people are doing that because I found it very helpful to me, and it might be a helpful project for you to do, especially if you feel like you don't have a handle on your makeup right now. And I was like fairly certain when I started that project that this was not gonna last. But when I started using it over the course of that 31 days, I was really excited to use it again. It was both a really beautiful color on me, but the sparkle wasn't so sparkly that I felt like I had to exclusively wear it on a night out or that it was like over the top. It's just like a very, very beautiful, simple lipstick. And it was so, I also had Trinket. If you're not familiar with Trinket, Trinket's like one of those like rosy beige nudes lipsticks, but it also has like a gold flip to it, just like Dropout, the other shade that I had mentioned. It's like it's kind of like their signature lip product from Sugarpill. This was so much more comfortable and more impactful than Trinket. And I was like, why would I ever fuss around with Trinket when I have this? And I decluttered Trinket, and this is still in my collection. Thinking about it, was it like the best purchase? No, this isn't the kind of lipstick that I'm reaching for all of the time, but I like this formula, and every now and then I feel spicy enough to use it, so I like having it in my collection. So unlike with Burnished Honey, this was like a weird thing that I happened to buy myself, because even at the time when I bought this, I have claimed in the past that I'm not really a lipstick person. I am now more of a lipstick person, but I think what was happening before is like I didn't know what kind of lipstick shades that I actually liked wearing. And it turns out for the most part, I do like to wear nudes, but in my brain, I thought I was gonna be like a colorful lipstick person, and it just didn't turn out to be that way. And then I started buying like nudes, but like interesting nudes, like, you know, sometimes a brown with like a little bit of a green undertone, you know, like grungy browns is like really my favorite kind of thing to wear on my lip. Now that I know that, I get a little bit more excited to try new lipstick formulas. But when I bought this, that was certainly not who I was. Why did I buy the Natasha Denona Bronze and Glow Tan palette? Why did I do that? Who was I? Who was she? Who would play her? Here's why I couldn't tell you why my brain decided that I need this when I bought it. The first 4 years I did makeup, I was not a cheek girly. I like did not put contour, bronzer, and like if I put blush on, it was barely. But you know what I was? I was a highlighter girly. I did love a highlight, so it'd be like nothing and then just a streak of that like really powdery OG highlighter formula was like a lot of what I was doing for the first many years of my makeup journey. I don't know why I was so afraid of bronzers. I did have a bronzer that I liked from Burberry, but it was like a hint of a bronzer. Barely showed up on me, was like, but it was just like just right, added warmth, that kind of thing. So tell me why tell me why my brain was like, you should buy that. I think the thing that probably led me into this was that I bought the Bloom palette because I was on a blush journey by that point, but we're gonna talk about me and my blush journey in a moment here. I was like, I should just buy the bronze one because I will like that. Now, there's a handful of things that have happened with this palette. She has had high highs and low lows at times in my collection, and I don't dislike it, but I also don't love this either, where I like love the Bloom palette, and I still to this day, it's not something I use the most often, but the Bloom palette, like every time I pull it out and I start using it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember exactly why I bought this. Every time I use this, I'm like, I don't really know, I don't understand this. So the format of this is that there's like a cream base, and this is much darker than you think it's going to be. Like in the pan, it looks almost like a highlight and it would like match my skin tone. It's really warm. It's deceiving. And then you're to put on the Super Glow on top of it, and you just kind of layer, and then you layer the powder bronzer, and then you layer the powder highlight. This is like too deep for me as far as a bronzer goes, so I have to be like really light-handed when I do decide to use it. I find that whenever I call it like the editorial bronze whenever I use this thing in full. I have kind of gotten around to using just portions of it and not the whole thing when I use it. So if I think about it, I might use just this as my bronzer, or perhaps just this as my bronzer, or perhaps with a really light hand just use the powder bronzer. The highlight I almost can't really use. It's a little too deep for me. It's just like that. It's too golden. It has a cast on me, which is totally fine. Like that happens sometimes, but like it survived clutter after declutter. And every time I go to declutter it, I use it again and I'm like, no, I like this. I think her time is coming. She's gonna get retired and that's okay. I have a couple bronzers that they're just like always what I wanna reach for. Like the one I have on today is the Tom Ford bronzer and I like love wearing that and I don't have to baby it like I have to baby this. And I have the cream bronzer from Chanel, which is a little harder to use than the Tom Ford, but I really like the effect of it. And it's still easier to manipulate than this little 4-piece. So I wouldn't say that this was my best purchase, but it wasn't my worst purchase either. But if I like could have gone back in time, because my mindset to makeup that I have now is like a relatively newer mindset. I've had it for like the past year and a half is where I've been really acting on not bringing ridiculous things into my makeup collection and trying to make really good decisions about what I bring into my makeup collection. I still am not perfect at that, by the way. I'm not like, I think this is a really hard line to walk. It's just a really difficult thing to really do perfectly. And I don't think that anyone can. We're human. If I had this mindset back then, this would have never made its way into my collection. I wouldn't have bought this. I think I did get to the bottom of it. So, but like, why did I buy it? I still am kind of asking myself, why did I buy this? It's just kind of like, because I wasn't into bronzer before this. I don't know why I thought this would change my mind. Why did I buy the KVD Beauty Rosebud blush? This is a cool toned like mauve-y blush. It's a really beautiful shade. This was kind of the blush formula that started my blush journey. As I mentioned previously, I was fairly light-handed on my cheeks before a certain period of time. I like didn't put a lot of blush on, no bronzer, maybe contour and highlight. When I would go through the motions of I would put on blush and I would put on bronzer, but it was never to the point where you could really see it. And some people really love the undetectable all of it, but I put on very noticeable eyeshadow, lipstick, and highlighter. So it was like, I don't know who I thought I was like fooling. I don't know what I thought, because while I do have like a heavier cheek than I used to now, I still could be doing more. I do kind of like this bronzed goddess look, but right today I don't have the most obvious blush on. I've been getting into more or less obvious blushes, but I still love a really, really strong blush whenever I want it. When I think about before I bought this or right around the time I bought this, I like wasn't into blush at all. This came out right after KVD like bought out Kat Von D from the brand, and we knew that Kat was not receiving funds from the brand anymore, and I thought, what the heck, let me give them a try. And I also thought it was really great that they were making a product in Sephora, and like the brand had done this before, but like making products that these are refillable pans. So if I were to ever use this up, I could buy the refill. They only seem to sell the ones in the compact in 3 shades now, but they still carry the original 6 blushes as refills. That might change. I don't know. Maybe these don't sell as well. The packaging is beautiful, and I think that might have been a thing that got me too. I'm a real sucker for beautiful packaging. So this matte plastic in this rose shape is just like really pleasing to look at. I would say this is more of like, why did I buy this? Knowing my taste now too, like it's a really interesting thing. I don't really wear blushes in this shade. However, I used to have 2 more ones, and this is the only one I've kept because I didn't have a lot of cool toned blushes. After I bought this, I put this on really heavy handedly and I was like, I think I understand blush now. So it kind of had the opposite effect of the Natasha Denona bronze, because like this didn't make me want to bronze anymore, but this, when I first started using it, I was like, I think I like blush. I really think I like blush. And this kind of set me down my blush journey. It opened up a can of worms that I could not close for a while because I bought a lot of blushes after this. I bought 2 more of these, and then I also bought like a myriad of other blushes, and now it's like I have blushes. I have so many blushes. I am thankful for my former self for having gone out on a limb and tried this. I would also say, like, if you've never tried this formula and you were interested in it, it's like it's more pigmented than I like my blushes to be now. But if you learn how to control this blush formula is really beautiful, and they look really good on the skin. It is matte, but I don't think that it looks like drying or anything when you put it on the skin. It's a really nice blush, and I thought it was like actually a pretty good way for them to come out the gate trying to rebrand, although they have like rebranded again since the KVD Beauty, but I like this blush. Can someone tell me why I bought this? Why did I buy this? Okay, now, to be fair to me, let's try to get my mindset when I bought this. I was working for Sephora. This was on sale an awful lot. And I think what happened was I realized that it had been on sale an awful lot, and I was like, I've always wanted that. I never wanted it. I can't think of a time where I saw this and I was like, I covet that, and I want to have that, and I need to have it. I was working at Sephora our discount went up to 30% off, and we would get that on the sale prices. And so I was like, I will buy this for $35, not $90, but it was on sale for like $50. And then the practicality of this, there is no practicality in this. Like, can't understand why I bought this, because I bought it and I even knew at the time I was fading out of my pink phase. So what on earth compelled me to buy this? There is literally no logical reason as to why this should be in my makeup collection now. Now, I have been spending some more time with it. You can see in the creams that I have been getting my grubby little fingers in there, clearly making the creams just dirty. And I have been exploring it and enjoying it for what it is. And I actually like this. These pinks are okay. They're fairly light. Like, they don't really look like much on the skin, which I can appreciate, especially with the way that I have been going more so with my blushes choices. What I've really found is that the Duo Glow is something to be considered. It's just a duochrome blush that has a lot of sheen to it. And I think it could be used as a highlighter, but I like to wear it as a blush. And so I have been getting on with it more. And then this is like basically the Fenty Diamond Balm, kind of the same idea where it's just like sparkles. It has kind of turned into a little bit more of my taste, but I think ideally I would depot this and like put it in something that feels more manageable. This is just like way too big. If it was like this, I think I would like it a lot more and maybe pull it out more, but it's just so honking big. Like, I don't understand, like, why is this the route we went? I don't even know. If I was a professional makeup artist, I don't think I would fuss with this. Like, this feels enormous. It would take up so much space in my case as a professional artist. Like, I don't know what Natasha was doing. She was just like, let's make this honking big thing for no reason. Perhaps you get a lot of product here. There's 7 grams in each thing, which I guess is like a fair amount of product. I don't know. It doesn't have to look like this. This I've been like actually considering decluttering recently, but the thing is, every time I use it, I'm like, I do like this. Like, it's not the worst thing. And I have this fear. I do have this fear that like I might get rid of all of my pink blushes, and then I will immediately have this phase where like I only want to wear pink all the time. Love pink. It's my favorite color, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Pink is my favorite thing to wear on my face. I just wish that it wasn't this big. And I think if it was smaller, or I don't know if you can depot these. I would have to like look into it. I know sometimes on Natasha Denona products you can't let me try right now. You can't pop these out. So I'm kind of either stuck with it or I pass it on. Why did I buy this? I don't know, and I still don't know, and I don't think I'll ever know. All right, Hoties, that was it. Let me know down in the comment section some things that you look at in your collection and go, why did I buy that? And then maybe try to figure out why you bought it. Leave us a comment. Let us all know, because I'm just so curious. Today's video is shorter, but I have some like premium quality, like longer content coming out next week that I think you all are going to very much enjoy. So I wanted to keep today light and sweet going into my birthday weekend and not give myself too much work in editing. So I'm just doing myself a favor, but I hope you like this shorter, snappy video. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for checking out the whole video. I would love to have you subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you stick around. Make sure you like this video for me. It really does help me and it does make a difference. I'm also on Patreon if you would like to support me there, but no pressure to. I appreciate you all so much for watching. Remember to follow your hote and you'll find Michael Myers. I appreciate you all so much again. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.